In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, most merciful. Dear brothers, sisters, and learners, welcome to this English course which is presented to you by English 101 UK Tutorials. It's Monday, this is week number 6, the 20th of July 2020. This lesson is made for the pre-intermediate level. Okay, in this lesson we are going to have a look at the adjectives and how to talk about countries in English. First, let's have a look at some of these adjectives which are clearly shown in these pictures. For example, here we have hardworking and ambitious, polite, being polite, timed, being on time, happy, the opposite of unhappy, sociable, being socialized, and romantic, frank, talkative, talk a lot, funny, diplomatic, courteous, and humorous, self-disciplined, impartial, faithful, popular, intelligent, smart, serious, high, practical, dynamic, adventure. Alright, so those are some of the adjectives. Let's say, what are adjectives? Well, adjectives are words that describe and give information about nouns or pronouns. They usually come right before them, right before nouns and pronouns. Like it's shown here, we have them in red color. The first one is blue. So blue is an adjective that describes the car. So it tells us the color, tells us about the color of the car. So it comes before the noun. The same thing, long, rope, tall, person, big house, this town, last week, the second day, the other women, 1 second, 3 boys, few cars, several people, etc., etc. We have some of these adjectives here with their opposites. For example, the first one is slow, opposite of course is fast, thick, thin, straight, curly, light, heavy, loose, tight, beautiful, ugly, big, small, strong, weak, healthy, sick, low, high, poor, wealthy, short, tall, thin, fat, insan, san, bad, good, straight, crooked, deep, shallow, dark, light, lazy, hard working, brave, cowardly, cheap, expensive, distance, distant, near, modern, ancient, delicious, awful, wide, narrow, attractive, taciturn, healthy, sick, careful, careless, pessimistic, optimistic, tidy, messy, patient, impatient, friendly, unfriendly, cold, hot, dishonest, honest, happy, unhappy, and lastly, selfish, and the opposite is generous. Okay, but you know that now we know that we have adjectives that describe nouns and pronouns. It tells us gives us information about certain noun or pronoun. But when we are comparing between two nouns or two pronouns, we use the comparative one. Let's say nice, something is nice. This house is nice, but that house is nicer than this. So here we are comparing between two houses. The same thing. Today is great, but yesterday was greater than today. Okay, what if we are comparing between three things or more than two? We use superlative. Okay, we have three houses now. The first house is nice. The second one is nicer than the first one, but the third house is the nicest one among them. Okay, superlative comparing between three things and above. Okay, the same thing here, great, greater, then, and then the greatest. Alright, those are adjectives, but we have irregular. Those are regular, but we have irregular adjectives that this rule doesn't apply. The ending of er, tall, taller, short, shorter, nice, nicer. No, it changes. For example, we have good, and that one is better than this one, and the other one is the best. Okay, so we can't say good, gooder, goodest. No, because it's an irregular. Okay, another example, but worse than the worst. Okay, boring, more boring, because it's more than two syllables. More boring, more than one syllable. Too boring. Yes, here we have other kind of adjectives that are more than one syllable. Boring. Okay, we can't say boriner. No, we say more boring. The superlative is the most boring. Again, interesting, more interesting than, of course, and the most interesting. Okay, so we use than all the way. More boring than, more interesting than, more beautiful than. Okay, I hope it's clear. Now, your homework is to put these adjectives. Okay, all of these adjectives that haven't been done yet, all of this here, okay, at the adjectives row here, and you do their comparative. You compare between. So do it like this, and then the superlative as well. For example, let's take this. Let's say wide. Wide is an adjective. Wider than. This is comparative. The widest. This is superlative. But be careful. You have optimistic. It's an adjective. Then you say more optimistic than. And here, lastly, you say the most optimistic. Okay? All of this. Okay, this is your homework. So now we finish with the adjectives. Let's move on to how to speak about your country. In order to speak about your country, we have dozens of questions here to help you write about your country and speak about your country. This is a homework. We ask you to write about your country and we ask you to speak about your country. So your homework is to write and speak. So you have 3 homeworks plus this one. Okay, let's read these questions together. First question says, where is your country? Where is it? How big is your country? What is the population of your country? How will you describe the landscape? Which part of your country do most people live in? Tell us about the main industrials. How easy is it to travel around your country? Is it safe to visit? What is the political system in your country? Who is in power at the moment? Who is the president? Who is the king? Who is the emir? Who is the sheikh? How is your country dealing with the current financial crisis? What can you say about the leaders? Where is the capital of your country? Is it on a river, on the coast, in the center of the country? How will you describe the capital city and any other main cities? What special attractions can be found in each city? And it says, what is the most popular sport in your country? How do you play it? Are there any sports or games unique to your country? Is it unique? It's totally different. There's nothing else like it. When is the best time to watch them? How well does your country do in international competitions? Is there a lot of wildlife in your country? Are there any deer, wild bear, wolves, or bears? Can you hunt them? Are there any natural parks in your country? Is fishing popular in your country? What is the most popular animal in your country? And what is the weather like? Is the weather very different in different parts of the country? Can you describe the seasons? What's the best time to visit? What languages are spoken in your country? What language do you usually hear on the streets? How many people speak English in your country? Is there a particular national costumes? Can you describe it? Are there any special local dances? What are they like? Are the people generally friendly? What are some special customs or traditions in your country? What are some special customs or traditions in your country? What are the principal economic activities of your country? What does it export? Your country, what does your country export? What are the main industries in your country? What can you tell us about the history? And did your country gain independence from another country? If so, if yes, when and how did this happen? What are the most popular tourist destinations in your country? What makes them popular, these destinations? Are there any hotels? Are there many opportunities to explore the countryside? Is it easy to find maps and routes? Is there much interesting architecture in your country? Are there many famous artists or authors based in your country? So these are questions that when you try to answer them in paragraphs, you should be able to describe your country in a good way. So those are your homeworks. Do this, the adjective, comparative and superlative of the adjectives, of course, and answering this, helping you to write and speak about your country. So these are your homeworks for this week. It's week 6, the 20th of July 2020. I hope this lesson was very easy and understandable, and good luck. all of you. Cheers.